Hello, Facebook family. Welcome to another night of Marriage Mondays with Nick and Trina and Brinson, also the lady and the coach. So we just want to come to you and just want to thank you every week that we come and do this for your support. And we just ask that you continue to share and give this information to a close friend or people that are married that may not tune into this, and just share it with them so they can get some idea of what they need to do in order to just continue to fulfill the promise that they made to each other in marriage.
As well as you can share it with people who are thinking about marriage, people who are dating, um, anybody who is interested in having a stronger love relationship. And we thank you, Nikisha Jenkins, for sharing right off the bat. Um, we appreciate that. So we'll give time for a few more folks to start chiming in before we get going. And I guess I'll see if I can get this puppy to stop making all that noise. I'll be back.
So as she's going to take care of the little fella, we just want to thank y'all for tuning in, and the discussion we're going to have tonight is going to be beneficial to you in your marriage and your relationship, and we just want to allow these topics that we do every week to just be beneficial to you. So with that said, we just want to thank our bishop and our first lady for continuing to support us in doing this, and we just want to thank them, and we just pray for them as they continue to have success in the ministry as they have had over these years. So with that said, we just want to continue to thank people for coming in. Ms. Myra Christian, thank you for watching with us tonight. Appreciate it. Want to share when it comes up. We just want to Miss Jack Josephine Green, thank you for coming in and sharing with us tonight. So we give a few minutes before we actually start with the topic for people to come in. We normally start about 5 minutes after, so we can just get through some of the introductions and the pleasantries.
Did we go through the formalities of who we represent and all that good stuff?
Oh, I just thank the First Lady and the Bishop, for letting us, for continuing to support. Not necessarily let us anymore. It's just they're giving us this to do.
Yeah, this is our assignment. This is our contribution to the body of Christ. One of them, anyway. And we're happy to do it. It's a privilege. All right, we do have folks coming right on in. Y'all are ready for us. And as always, you can, of course, share tomorrow or later on this evening through YouTube. How you doing, Trey Smith? Happy to have your support always. So we really kind of pulled this lesson. Well, not kind of, but we pulled this lesson from what we're currently learning from the sermon from yesterday's lesson. And I think the week before too, we've been talking about this. So it's a topic that resonates with us, and a topic that we feel we can really see how it applies to strengthening your marriage relationship. Brother Charles Brown is in, which means Francine Brown is probably in too.
Yep. And the sermon, the sermons that Bishop has been preaching, coming from the topic of a mind setting. Have you set your mind where your life is? So we're under that topic tonight. Okay. What you looking at?
Trying to figure out what is that white on the screen.
Oh, that's just part of the Facebook letting us know that somebody else came in.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's not showing there?
It's not showing here yet.
You don't have it.
There it is.
Okay. All right.
So now we can share. Share.
Yeah. It took a minute for it to show up for us. But we're about to get rolling.
Oh, yeah.
You ready?
Let me type this in.
I want you to start off with the quote that you have.
Okay.
That Bishop Bush brought to our attention. I think that's a good place to start.
Mhm.
As the people awake.
All right. The quote that we're going to start with tonight, it's a quote comes from Michelangelo. And you'll understand when we start talking about the topic, how this quote
It's relevant.
relevant. Yeah. The greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it. That's the quote by Michelangelo. And tonight's topic is the dangers of low expectations. How does low expectations affect your marriage?
Mm-hmm. And we know Michelangelo was the artist who painted the Sistine Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a pretty lofty goal, that undertaking. So we know that he is one whose life reflects setting high goals.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something for us to look at. What will our legacy be? What will our life show and reflect? What kind of goals will we set for ourselves?
All right.
So we're going to tie all that into the marriage relationship, of course. But we also know that marriages are made up of two individual people who are being joined together as one. And that process does not end with the wedding. It is just the beginning.
Right.
That process of two becoming one. It's almost like salvation. You get saved and you are saved, but you really do have to work out your salvation. Mm-hmm. You can't just abandon that. You can't just abandon it. It's a commitment. It's something that you sign up for. And the same is true with marriage. It's an ongoing process of the two becoming more and more joined, the two becoming one. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about, some of this sounds like we're talking about us as individuals, and we are, but individuals make up a marriage.
Right. I can too.
You ready?
Yep. All right. The first one we're going to talk about is solicit to low.
The danger
of soliciting to a mm-hmm. low level of treatment. The dangers of low expectations. I already told them that. And the first topic we're going to talk about is solicit a low level of treatment from others based on your own level of self-love. And when you're talking about self-love, is how you see yourself, how you love yourself. What are you doing to promote you as an individual? Because it's hard for me to love me and love her. If I don't love me, how can I love her? Mm-hmm. So we're talking about promoting yourself so you as a individual can be good for the both of you. All right.
Well, the key word to me is solicit, because mm-hmm. when you solicit something, you ask for it. And so to say that having low expectations results in your soliciting a low level of treatment from others, it's based upon your own, self-worth, self-love, how much you esteem yourself. All of that ties into what you solicit from other people. And it may not be overt. It may not be that you're saying, oh, you don't have to be nice to me, it's okay. Or I don't mind if you push me around. Or I don't mind if you don't prioritize me. I can always be last on your list. Nobody goes around saying those things, but you can solicit that kind of treatment from others when that's the image of yourself that you see. And when you show up in the relationship that way, that's what you will get. People will treat you based upon how you see yourself. Right. I always say that you train people how to treat you.
You do.
And to me, that's just such a strong life lesson, because if people find that they can call you at 1:00 in the morning just to chit chat, they will. But mm-hmm. if they call you at 1:00 in the morning and don't get an answer, they're going to stop trying to call you at 1:00 in the morning. Or if they call you at 1:00 in the morning and you answer the phone, and let them know that if ain't nobody dying, why you dialing my number? I can talk to you tomorrow morning after 9:00. Don't call me before 9:00. When you set some boundaries in place, it teaches people how to treat you.
Right.
And I mean, that's a very simplified example, but the concept is the same. You teach people, or you train people in your life how to treat you.
And it's something that continues throughout marriage, because you're going to do something that the other person is not comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And it might be a new level of understanding. It might have been okay 10 years ago, But now you got to learn that this person doesn't want to be treated like that, and you got to respect that new boundary. It ain't the fact that they didn't change. They really probably didn't like it back then, but they didn't say it at the time. So you got to learn how to treat that person as y'all continue to grow, so both of y'all can live in this marriage relationship at the same time.
That's such an important point. It's a little bit of a side note, I think. But people do change, and you really can't. And that's a positive thing. That's not necessarily a negative thing. Everybody grows. You have to grow one way or another. Either the world moves on without you, or you decide how you're going to move through the world as far as your future is concerned. But people do learn and grow and develop, and you have to give your spouse room to do that. You want it to. It's a sort of I would say almost like an art to you growing and allowing your spouse to grow, and the two of you being able to grow together as a couple.
And that's the point right there, grow together as a couple.
Yeah, it's
and
very
we'll
important.
mention another point later on about the importance of growing together, because it could be very important to the sustaining of your relationship.
And I'll say too, another point I want to make at this juncture where we're talking about soliciting. You solicit a level of treatment that's below you. You solicit a level of treatment based upon your love for yourself. Loving your spouse should not cost you your own self-love or your own self-respect. If it does, that's a problem, because that's not really love. Because love is nurturing. Love builds you up. It doesn't tear you down. And so you really need to be able to distinguish if what you're experiencing with your spouse, is it something that builds you up? So and do you love yourself enough for you to be focused on growing, moving forward, being a stronger person, because that also will dictate the way other people treat you.
Right. You got another point to make about soliciting?
What you looking at?
I'm just looking at what we've talked about.
What do you want me to say?
I just say, actually, did you have another point with soliciting?
Oh yeah, I do. I thought you was beating around the bush.
No.
I think you were. Tolerating abuse is not self-love. Silent resentment just to be compliant, that's not self-love. And being self-deprivation to the point that it is dangerous for you, that's not a part of self-love. You have to know the difference between you having low expectations for yourself and for how others treat you versus you being able to function within the relationship at a healthy level. There has to be a balance. You can't be selfish in love, because love itself is not selfish. Love is giving. But love does not cost you your own self-worth, your own self-love. That is not that's not the cost of love. Your spouse should love you in a way that makes you stronger. You should love your spouse in a way that makes each other stronger. Yeah, not to tear each other down.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Second point we want to make is fighting battles that are no. And
wait. What now?
Fighting battles that are not yours to fight.
Right. That's evidence of
danger. The dangers of low expectations.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's that you find yourself
fighting battles that are beneath you, and you should be engaged in those battles because they should be beneath you. I like the example we talked about. And explain that example.
Well, what I was saying is that made me think about, you have two birds. You're both birds. One's a chicken and one is an eagle. A chicken and an eagle don't have the same problems in their lives. They don't fight the same battles. They don't have the same challenges. So you need to know who you are and be surrounded by, if you're an eagle, which I would like to think we all are, with potential to soar, not to hang out low with the chickens in the dirt. Eagles have different challenges than chickens do. Eagles are more concerned about the wind. Eagles are more concerned about being somewhere high. Chickens in a little low area. They don't stray too far from what's comfortable. Eagles soar. They explore. They go far. They go high. They have different concerns than the chickens do. And so it's just sort of an example of or I guess a illustration or scenario to help us think about the fact that we have to be sure that we're fighting the battles that are true to who we are and
Right.
to who we're growing into being. Don't get caught up with situations that are not a part of the purpose of why you live. You don't want to get caught up in drama. Even to break it down to be a little more specific, even things, some of the stuff that happens in the media, everything is not our battle to take up and to be a part of. Some of the stuff that happens in social media, just because of what happened with a family is trending, or what somebody said is trending, everything is not your battle. Everything don't have to be your conversation. If it doesn't tie into purpose for you, let somebody else have that conversation, and just choose not to be a part of something that is beneath you, or something that is beneath you. That's really the term I want to use, because that's part of the dangers of having low expectations, low goals, and not really living up to the potential of who you are.
And you got to move with the purpose that you've been given. Really, if we're thinking about time and maturity, us at 22 years of marriage shouldn't be having the same issues that somebody that's been married 2 years.
Or that we had at 2 years.
Yeah. We should not be having those same issues. So if when you're doing that, you hadn't prioritized your marriage. Your marriage isn't working towards its purpose if you're still living in 2-year marriage problems at 22 years.
Right.
So I would even say that, those issues will last a long time until you get some new information. And so that's kind of what we provide you with, so you can get past some of those issues that you done had while you was younger that you're still having right now. So, don't fight those battles that you shouldn't have, those battles that you had at 2 years, now that we're at 22 years.
Yeah, make your efforts count.
Yeah.
Pick your battles. Make sure that what's worth fighting over or fighting for is something that ties into purpose. Otherwise, at all costs, really, at all points, or whatever you're dealing with, the goal is to seek peace. But some battles are, they're just not yours. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your energy. Invest your energy where you're going to get a good return that ties into what your purpose is, what you were designed for. So, and another point kind of under what we're talking about is it's important to make sure you take care of those basic priorities, those kind of mundane things in life that sometimes we don't want to take care of, such as making sure we're in agreement about finances. That's not really fun. It's not, something that makes you excited to move into the day knowing that you got to deal with finances. But it's a priority that has to be taken care of. Because when you don't take care of those basic priorities in life, they will stop you from pursuing your purpose. They really will. So we want to encourage you to take care of your priorities so that you can focus on purpose, and so that the battles that you're fighting are truly tied into purpose and not tied into things that are trivial or mundane, or those basic level of things that you can get under control and have kind of autopilot. You can focus on purpose.
Right. What your marriage was designed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of our purposes right here to do the marriage ministry part of marriages.
Yeah, case in point with that is Mondays are a long day for us individually and as a family. It's a long day. And so on Mondays, because some of y'all know in our house, we always rotate who does the cooking so that no one person is responsible for meals. We divide that up. And so Mondays, because we both do this, that's Charity's day to cook dinner. And she knows that. And so she takes care of that. She's probably listening to us now in the kitchen as she's cooking. But, well, she probably not. She probably have her earbuds in and don't have a clue what we're talking about.
Right.
But that's something sort of mundane that we do that could keep us from focusing on purpose. Because if one of us has to come home, make sure that we have food to eat and be prepared and settled and in the right spiritual spot, the right mental place for us to do what we're doing now, That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot because both of us finish our day and get home somewhere between 5 and 6, and then we have to make sure we're, we just kind of review whatever we had already decided we were going to discuss, try to look decent, you know, and come in here and be prepared, pray about it, and come on and do what we need to do for you all. But we have to take care of those mundane things in order for us to move towards purpose.
Okay. The next one you want to read?
Sure. The third evidence or of a danger of having low expectations, and I want to say too, I don't know if we've clarified what we're talking about with low expectations. I don't know that we have. We're talking about if you don't know, this next one will kind of cover it. We're talking about allowing yourself to reach goals that are inside of you, things that are in you, those desires that God put there. And whether it's having a healthy marriage, or if it's I don't know, creating something that, like what we're doing, this Facebook Live, something that can help to reach other people, or if it's a career goal, whatever it is that's in your heart, those things that are important, set your expectations high. Don't just settle for something basic, something you can do yourself. And that's what this number 3 talks about is when you set your expectations too low, you miss the opportunity for you to use your faith. You don't need faith to do something that is easily attainable, something that you can fathom obtaining yourself. You don't need faith for that. You need faith for those things that look like they're too big for you.
Right.
To where you know that it's going to take God's help for you to get something done. Granted, God gives us energy to do everything that we do, and direction and guidance. But some of those things, you can have a task before you and you're like, oh, that's easy. I can do that. And then it's other things that you need to do. And, there may be that hesitation of, oh my God, how am I going to get this done? This is bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of thing that is an opportunity for you to use your faith. And so you forfeit the opportunity to experience victory when your expectations are too low. Take advantage of that opportunity to use your faith. So I'm going to read my note. You don't need faith for what you can fathom accomplishing on your own. So learn to welcome those challenges and to anticipate victory.
Yep. Because at this point, just a little something about myself. I'm on this mission to lose a whole bunch of weight, and I've set my goal where I needed to go. And I'm like, well, Lord, you're gonna have to help me out with this, because being such a busy person, it's hard to carve out that time that you need. And my wife has been in support of me doing this. So it's one of those things that Nick can't do this all in his own power, because he gets tired physically. He gets where, man, I don't even know, this is becoming real hard. So I need God's assistance and my faith with him in order to do what needs to be done. And I know it's not going to be an easy task. It's going to be one of those tasks that lasts a while, because I didn't gain this weight overnight. It's going to take a while to get to where I need to get, naturally, to make sure the weight comes off properly. So that's one of those things.
Mm-hmm. And I could definitely see where you've been able to commit to what it takes for you to be successful. And that is something that ties into purpose.
Right.
It is something that ties into you being your best self, being who you desire, who you believe that God has called you to be, and being prepared and fit physically to do the things that God has called you to do. So, it's an honorable goal. It's a challenge that allows you to use your faith. And I've already seen very much how your behaviors surrounding this goal that you've set, how it has taken faith to be consistent.
Oh yeah.
And you've been at it for a while.
I've been at it for a while.
Very consistently. So it's impressive. I'm inspired.
Yep. Because faith without works is what?
It's dead.
It's dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to reach it if you don't have the faith. So that's where we're at. And thank you for the support.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right. So moving into 4 point about low expectations and mediocrity. Do you have is your mind set on mediocrity or low subpar thinking or just living beneath your privilege that God has set for you? Are we living there? You know, what do you think about your marriage? What are you expecting from each other? You know, when you're talking about living beneath your privilege, because everything that we need is with the Creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we just need to understand that what we need for our marriages and how you need to uplift your marriage, you need to ask for it in prayer and having good communication with your spouse and understanding that the goals you set need to be something that both, when y'all set goals together, it needs to be something that you need faith to obtain. You know, because we set goals in our marriage about being debt free, you know, house paid off, cars paid off,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to set aside an inheritance for our children's children. So those are some of our goals that's going to take faith and take us actually help working on to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to put that out there.
Okay, and I think the way we kind of want to tie this all up, I don't know how we're doing on time. Do you?
Mm-mm. Okay, we good. We got about 4 minutes.
Okay. So the last thing we wanted to do was to share with you a poem that it just falls right in line with what we're talking about today. And it's a poem that ever since I first heard it, it just always rang true with me. I used to keep a written copy of it, like on my mirror in the bathroom several years ago, because I loved it so much. It just really put into words this whole concept that we're talking about today. And it was something I wanted to keep at the forefront of my mind. So, is this it?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the whole thing, is it?
It is.
No, that's not the whole thing. Can you pull it up? That's not all of it. Yeah, your cheat sheet is not telling the truth. I wanted to just to share, and some of you may be familiar with it. And I don't have anything to say about the author or whatever kind of belief somebody have. It's a poem, and I believe that my interpretation of the poem matches up with my faith and what I believe. So I don't want to debate with anybody about the source of where it came from or anything or whatever. But this poem I feel has value. I just wanted to mention it tonight because it's so on point for what we're talking about today. You got it?
I'm trying to get it. I thought I wrote it down. But
Well, that's not. Yeah, this is not the whole thing.
Oh, that's it right there. Then.
You want to read it? Or you want me to?
Yeah, you can read it.
Okay.
Can you see it?
I can see it. Thank you. Shady.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So the title is "Our Deepest Fear," and it's written by what was it? This one.
Mm-hmm.
It's written by Marianne Williamson. Nelson Mandela has referred to this poem as well in some of his works. So some people know it through him, but the original author is Marianne Williamson. So it's called Our Deepest Fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And to me, that is so powerful. And so there's so much in that poem that it just resonates and rings with me. And it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can remember feeling at some point um, other people feeling, I don't know what the right word is, but feeling a way around me that I didn't like for them to feel, as if they would elevate me, but then, or say that what I'm doing was so good and so great, but make themselves small.
Right.
And that always kind of irritated me, because I'm like, okay, I agree with you. I think I'm great too, but I think you great also. I don't think I'm the only one, doing good. Don't just only acknowledge me and what I'm doing. I want to acknowledge you. I want you to acknowledge yourself. Don't shortchange or downplay yourself. And I didn't, at some point, I felt like I don't like for people to feel that way around me, because that's not ever my intent. Okay. I want to appreciate myself, but I want to appreciate you too.
Right.
And I want you to appreciate yourself too. And so that's part of the reason that this poem rang true too. And also the part where it talks about your living your life the best way you can. It empowers other people and gives them the almost like gives them permission to be their best selves as well. And that just to me is very important, is that we as people in this earth, that we encourage one another, and that we are true to who we are, because the world needed, God needed you in the earth to be you.
Right.
He don't need you in the earth to try to be somebody else.
Absolutely.
And so I love that poem, and I used to refer back to it frequently, and I'll probably go back to it now that we read it today. But I just feel like it's so captures such a strong message. Why you say okay? You trying to make me stop talking?
If I stop talking, I'll be like, okay, it's about time to wrap it up. I'm just agreeing with you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Seemed a little shady. Maybe it's just me.
It is, man.
I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we just wanted to share that, give you guys some encouragement. That's what we're here for. Oh, we do need to cover some
got a few things.
A few things real quick to cover. You want to start off?
Yes. Just want to say a special prayer for the Bush family. Our bishop and his brothers and sisters lost their father last night, and we will be doing whatever we can to make this transition in this time as easy as we can for the bishop and his family. Just keep, the best thing to do is keep prayers, keep them in prayer for strength and emotional stability during these times.
And we are, on another note, very excited to let you guys be the first to know that we are planning a marriage conference coming up at the end of September, beginning of October. So go ahead and mark your calendars for September 30th. That's a Thursday evening. Everything will be virtual. You are absolutely invited to come out to the church in person. We take this pandemic as we should, and we use protocols for safety. We're screening folks. We're still seating people apart in the sanctuary. You sit with your family, but we keep everybody separated so that everybody is socially distanced, and masks are required. So we certainly encourage you to come out, but we are putting everything out to you virtually, because we understand that's the way the majority of the people will participate. We just want you to participate.
Right.
So Thursday night, September the 30th at 7 p.m., we'll start out with Bishop Bush teaching, giving us the foundation for this conference. October the 1st is a Friday. 7 p.m. we'll have a bit of a Q&A, a panel discussion. So from Thursday night, go ahead and jot down your questions that you have, and you'll be able to submit those so that we can have those questions addressed by either of us or by Bishop Bush. And lastly, October the 2nd is that Saturday, which will be from 10 to 12. We'll have some good content for you, is all I'll say on that. So we encourage you to mark your calendar so you can chime in with us and watch it live. We really do want your participation live. So we know most of our audience on Mondays watches virtually. We see there's hundreds of people that this show reaches, but we want you guys to show up when we're live for this conference, because we want to be able to interact with you and make it more than just information going out one way. We want to have your participation. So we are excited about this conference, and we'll be mentioning it in the coming weeks, and ask that you go ahead and help us spread the word.
Right, give you a lot more information as it gets closer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that said, thank you for joining us tonight. And we just want to say, from the lady and the coach, we love y'all. Good night.